Hi there, Eric Bakker from New Zealand, the Naturopath. Thank you for coming back. Here's a guy that lives in Europe, and he's really worried about poisons and toxins and things like that, which many people are. Understandably, there are a lot of toxins around these days. Toxins in my body. Okay, he wants to really know, what can I do? What can I do? Exclamation, like all in like capital and bold letters. So I've got do this. I've got this in the video. That's the title. Do this to show this guy. So the point I'm making here is, if you feel there's a toxic overload in the body, you can do some investigations to determine, A, what type of toxins there are, and B, how the body's been affected by that toxic load. Liver detox testing is quite effective. You can do a functional liver detoxification profile, an FLDP. All right? So that will assess your urine for 2 organic acids that are passed out, and then we can tell which stage of the liver is impaired. That's a very good test to do. So that's called a functional liver detoxification test. Okay, ask your integrative doctor. Your general conventional medical GP will think it's probably like your mumbo jumbo and witchcraft, so wouldn't even bother going to your normal doctor. I would talk to your doctor who's trained in integrative or functional medicine, and there are a lot of them around now, or a naturopathic guy like me, because we understand those kind of tests, especially if we've got some experience. So that test is a really good one to quickly assess if the liver is coping with stuff in your body. It's not going to show you if there are toxins there, but it will show you how it's coping. I'm not a fan of doing all these detailed tests to determine what kind of toxins people have got, because quite frankly, if you did that, you would need to do dozens of tests, because there are tens of thousands of chemicals in our environment. So how the hell are you going to assess every single chemical that you come in contact with to see what you're sick with? What a waste of time. Why would you even do that? Oh, don't talk to me about toxins like that. What you would do is a liver function test. That's a clever one. You could also complete a hair analysis test. Now, many people think hair analysis, again, is, some sort of party trick or something, or, it's not. If you go to Genova Diagnostics, or if you go to Doctor's Data in Chicago, there are some other very good hair labs in Texas. I believe there's a very good one. So these are excellent way of determining mineral status and toxic element status in the body, right? So you can determine very quickly if you've got arsenic, lead, mercury, cadmium, strontium. All these sort of metals can be picked up from the hair. Hair's an excretory tissue. If you look at the hair follicle, it's bathed in blood. So as the hair's growing out of the hair follicle, it's going to take into the hair shaft what is actually in the bloodstream at the time. So it's a good 4 to 6 week, spread of toxins in the body. So I've completed many hair tests over the years with people, and I could spend a whole day just describing various cases of people where I picked up incredibly high toxic load through doing hair analysis. I've done the same thing with the functional liver detox profile. But when you get to the point of doing very specialized solvent testing and stuff like that, what a waste of time. The thing is, look at your environment. If you're working in a print shop with lots of solvents and chemicals around you, why would you even need to test for that stuff? You're drinking and smelling it all day anyway. You've probably got it all through your body. If you work in a forecourt in a gas station pumping gas, you're probably going to have all that crap all through your system anyway. Why do you even want to test for it? You're smelling it, you're sniffing it, you're literally drinking it when you're, putting it in your motor vehicle, if you're working that kind of job. If you're a diesel mechanic, if you're a welder or a boilermaker, if you're a silversmith, if you're dealing with toxins, you're going to have toxins. Hello? How would you not have toxins if you're dealing with them? Unless you wear a moon suit 24/7 when you're working with this stuff. The likelihood of you having toxins through occupation is quite high. So it's a given. So you might as well do a bit of a liver test to see if your liver's coping, and then look at other forms of toxins coming into the body, like smoking, like drinking, like any type of chemical, pharmaceutical preparations. These are all poisons. So these all add to your toxic total burden. So what you do is an assessment. At the very least, do a stool assessment, right? You can do that. If you've got specialized toxins in the body, talk to your functional medicine doctor about that, because he or she may have a very particular test, for example, for mycotoxins, poisons produced by mold, Some people work in very moldy environments and get a lot of mold in their body, right? And they can be specifically tested. So you can be specifically tested for certain types of chemicals if you work in that environment. You just need to make that inquiry with your doctor. That's what you need to do, all right? Do the test specific to, you know, your particular requirement. Don't cast too wide a net when it comes to toxic determination, because it's quite expensive. So try and really work out what you want to test and get that tested and then act on that information. I had a guy I saw a few years ago, extremely sick with prostate cancer. The hair analysis showed massive amounts of cadmium in his body, like very, very high cadmium levels, which is a toxic metal. And this guy flies aeroplanes, small planes, and he dumps fertilizers on farms. We call that top dressing, okay? Now, these fertilizers contain cadmium in them and other heavy metals. So needless to say, that's where his cadmium levels came from. So again, you know, I knew potentially what type of a burden he had, and it's exactly what he had. So find the toxin potentially that you're dealing with, do the test, and then do the treatment, you know, as appropriate. So that's what you do. You get the right test done, act on the information, problem sorted. Thanks for tuning in.